They called her a gold digger, until she revealed she was the Billionaire Continuation Part 2. The drive back to their small apartment was silent, but this was not the heavy, angry silence of the restaurant. It was a silence filled with 1,000 unasked questions. Liam kept his eyes on the road, his knuckles white on the steering wheel. He wasn't angry at Alara. He was stunned. He was confused. And he was deeply, profoundly ashamed of his family. Finally, parked outside their building, he turned off the engine. The only light came from a flickering street lamp. He turned to her, his voice quiet. "Alara, Vance." Alara looked at him, her eyes shining with tears she had refused to shed in front of his family. "My full name is Alara Vance Atherton," she said softly. "The name I gave you was real. The life I built with you was real. It was the only part of my world that ever felt true." Liam, search your face. The library? The small apartment? Your paycheck-to-paycheck budget. "I have a trust," she explained. "It funds this life. It's separate from the main family fortune. But the rest, the billions, the companies, that's all real, too." "Liam, I was so tired of being a name, of being a number. I just wanted to be Alara." Liam let out a long breath. He didn't see a billionaire. He just saw the woman who fell asleep reading on his couch, the woman who knew how to make him laugh when his designs were rejected, the woman he had asked to marry him. He reached out and wiped a tear from her cheek. "I don't care about the name Alara," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "I care about you. But what they did, what they said to you for years." He didn't have to finish. She understood. "It doesn't matter, Liam," she whispered. "It matters to me," he replied, his voice firm. "It matters." The very next morning, the phone began to ring. It was Margaret, Liam's mother. Her voice, usually so sharp and condescending, was now dripping with a sickening, desperate sweetness. "Alara, dear, I just don't know what to say. We had no idea. Why didn't you tell us? We feel just terrible." Alara, with Liam listening beside her, kept her voice polite but cool. "There was nothing to tell, Margaret. You were clear about how you felt about me. My financial status shouldn't have changed that." "Oh, no, dear, you misunderstand," Margaret stammered. "We were just worried." "Yes, worried about Liam. We thought you were, well, you know, but Vance. My goodness, Robert is just beside himself. He's so impressed." Alara closed her eyes. "Impressed. Not ashamed. Impressed." "Margaret," Alara said calmly, "I appreciate the call, but Liam and I need some space. We have a lot to discuss." She hung up, declining the frantic invitation for a welcome to the family brunch. Next, a text from Chloe. "OMG, Alara, I am so sorry. That book was just a stupid joke. I can't believe you're a Vance. That's amazing. We should go shopping. My treat. Just kidding, unless you want to." Alara showed Liam. He just shook his head, a look of disgust on his face. The people who had called her a gold digger were now, in a single night, the most eager gold diggers of all. A month passed. The world shifted. The engagement ring Liam had saved months for was now joined by another ring, a simple band he gave her. They had married quietly at the courthouse, just the two of them. Their love was real, but the world outside was not. News of the lost Vance heiress had broken, and their small apartment was suddenly besieged by reporters. They moved, not into a mansion, but into a modest, private house in a gated community, purchased by Alara's trust. And Liam began to struggle. He loved Alara, but he felt his own identity slipping. He was no longer Liam, the promising architect. He was Mr. Vance, the heiress's husband. His family, meanwhile, had completed their transformation. They had become fawning, obsequious, and ever-present. "Alara, darling, your new house is just lovely. Not as big as I'd expect, but so tasteful," Margaret would say during her now weekly visits. "Alara, I saw an amazing charity I think the Vance Foundation should look into," Chloe would text, attaching a link to her own friend's startup. They didn't respect Alara. They respected her money. And Liam saw it all. Part 14, The Ask. Narrator. The real test came on a Tuesday. Robert, Liam's father, called Liam. He sounded distressed. "Son, I'm in trouble. My business. I made some bad investments. The bank is calling my loans. I'm going to lose everything. The house. Everything." Liam's heart sank. For all their faults, this was his father. That night, Liam told Ilara, he needs $500,000, Ilara, to cover the debt. Ilara listened, her expression calm. "And what happens after that, Liam?" she asked gently. "What do you mean?" "He's in trouble. We can help." "If we give him the money," Ilara said, "he will be back in a year asking for more. This isn't a rescue, Liam. It's an investment in a failing business. One I've seen 100 times. Liam bristled. "This is my father." "I know," Ilara said, taking his hand, "which is why this decision has to be yours. But know this, my family's money has destroyed more people than it has saved. It creates dependency. It creates entitlement. It's what your family accused me of. Now it's what they want from me." The next day, the entire family, Robert, Margaret, and Chloe, arrived at their home, unannounced. They weren't there to ask. They were there to expect. "Ilara," Robert began, attempting a powerful, fatherly tone. "Liam told you about my temporary setback." "I heard," Ilara said, standing beside her husband. "Good," Robert said, nodding. "So, a simple bank transfer should do it. I've written down the account details. It's for the good of the family. After all, we have to protect our name." Liam stared at his father. "Our name?" He looked at his mother, who was already admiring Ilara's curtains, as if the transaction was finished. He looked at Chloe, who was scrolling on her phone, bored. They hadn't learned a thing. They hadn't changed. They had just switched targets. They still saw Ilara as a bank account. And now, they saw their own son as a key. Liam felt a cold, hard clarity settle in his chest. He stepped in front of Ilara. "No." Robert froze. "What did you say?" "No," Liam repeated, his voice stronger. "We won't be paying your debts." Margaret gasped. "Liam, how can you be so cruel? This is your father. After all we've done for you." "What you've done," Liam said, his voice shaking with controlled fury, "is disrespect my wife for 3 years. You called her a gold digger. You humiliated her. And the second you found out she had money, you did the very thing you accused her of. You came digging. We are not asking her." Robert boomed. "We are asking you, our son." "You're asking us," Liam corrected, "because you think her money is now my money. It's not, and I will not stand here and watch you treat the woman I love like an ATM." The family was stunned into the same silence Ilara had commanded in the restaurant. But this time, the words came from their son. They left, sputtering threats and insults, calling Liam ungrateful and whipped. When the door closed, Liam turned to Ilara. He looked exhausted, but free. "I'm sorry," Ilara said. "Don't be," Liam said, pulling her into a hug. "You were right. I'm an architect. I build things. And I am not going to let my family's problems be the foundation of our life." He smiled. "I'm quitting my job." Ilara looked surprised. "I'm starting my own firm," he clarified. "The one I've always dreamed of. And I want you to be my first client. Not as my wife, but as Ilara Vance, the philanthropist who wants to build sustainable, beautiful housing for people who need it. A partner." Ilara's smile lit up the room. "I'd be honored to work with you, Mr. Harris," she said. The greatest test of their love wasn't the judgment. It was the wealth. It wasn't the insults from his family that mattered. It was his choice when faced with the pressure of old loyalties. Ilara's money could have been a new cage, trapping them both. But instead, they used it as a key. Liam built his firm from the ground up, earning a name for himself built on his own talent, not his wife's. And Ilara, with a true partner by her side, finally found what she had been looking for all along. A life that was real, a love that was earned, and the freedom to be exactly who she was. Because in the end, they didn't just reveal her identity. They built a new one together. Their love survived the truth. But can survive what's coming next? Stay tuned for the continuation of the stories. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss it.